Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the August 11th meeting of the Norfolk Select Board. I'm joined by my partner Kevin Roach, and we are expecting our other colleague Thais Hickman to join us remotely, though she has not joined at this time. We're beginning our meeting with a joint meeting with our advisory, and I'll turn it over to you for a second, Mr. Lutz.
I'm Dave Lutz. I'm the chair of the Norfolk Advisory Committee, and I have some members here. I'd like to call our meeting to order. And away we go.
Awesome. So we are starting with this joint meeting to kind of talk about the budget process. Oh, yes. Pledge. Say it again.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you so much. Oh, my gosh. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gallagher. So we are having a joint meeting with the advisory committee because we are well aware that we're approaching a difficult budget situation. And we have made a commitment as a board. I'm speaking for all of us at this time. We've made a commitment to looking at the process differently than we've looked at it in the past. And so I just want to talk about Anita's brain for a minute and kind of go into what I was thinking about is how do we do community involvement and what does that actually look like? And the goals, I think, the goals for our board was we wanted genuine transparency. Oftentimes you hear transparency and people's eyes roll back in their head and they think, well, they're not really being transparent. And we wanted like genuine transparency. We wanted not only community awareness of what their taxes are, but also community involvement. But we wanted to have a process that was safe and respectful for our community members, but also for our town employees, so that it's not like, how come you bought that? Or how come you have this? And how do we have that conversation in a way that's safe and collaborative rather than adversarial? I did a ton of reading on things that are out there in the world about what different communities have done, especially a lot of reading with the MMA, the Massachusetts Municipal Association. And the first place I landed, they had something real groovy called participatory budgeting. And I thought, oh, that's what we want. We want participatory budgeting. And then I read a lot about it. It's not at all what we want, because it's kind of like, oh, we have an extra $20,000. Do we want to buy part of a fire truck, or do we want to get a new tree or whatever? And we don't have an extra $20,000, and there's no, that conversation doesn't apply to us. And so then I was back at the drawing board, and the goal is we want people to know what their taxes are getting them. What do they get for their taxes? And then when we come to a position where we have to make decisions about how we're spending them, it can be an informed decision. And so MMA had some really nice work on having citizen academies. So it's like, we're not really going to call it an academy, I think, because ours is going to be a foray into that. Maybe we'll evolve into that, but where you put an application out there for the community, and 25 people are chosen. We would absolutely reserve a spot for advisory or two, so advisory can join. And then I think we talked about opening it up to town employees as well, if there's an interest in that. And then you'd have this committee of people, and on Thursday evenings, we'll just run a town department a Thursday and say, this is your fire department, and maybe the fire department meeting will meet at the fire department. You can have a tour, but you also learn, what does the fire department cost us? How many staff members are there? Are they full-time? Are they part-time? Are they on loan? How does that work? So each week, starting soon, starting in September, we'll have a Thursday night meeting. It will be videotaped, so for people who didn't get chosen, because I'm imagining more than 25 people are going to want to be on this thing, so for people who didn't get chosen, it will be available, and the materials will be available through our website. So it'll be videotaped, but then also at the end of it, we'll have 25 people in our community who really understand how the town works and how all the departments work. And then next year we could run it again. I'm an idealist, so next year we run it again. And now you have 50 people in town who know all your departments and how that works. And the communities in Massachusetts who have done this, one of them Danvers, one of them Barnstable, another one, I think Pittsfield was another one, and they talked about, some people went in like, I'm going to see now where all the fat is, and they end up coming not only with their eyes open to some of the services that they get, but also with good ideas. And so I think when we do these meetings, we'll also put something out to the community and say, what questions, like I'm going to pick on the fire department, and because they know that it's not personal, and what do you want to know about the fire department? What questions do you have? What ideas do you have? What do you want us to be sure to say? And then at the end of every workshop, we'll have an evaluation form, the same evaluation form every time. What were your takeaways, and what do you wish we had answered if we hadn't answered something, so that we can, when we get to that pre-town meeting by November, hopefully we'll be in a position to answer questions that hadn't been answered. And so we have a draft calendar. We're meeting with department heads tomorrow morning, and the idea is we're going to go department by department. A few of the smaller departments will put together and have Thursday night meetings from 6 to 8 or 6 to 8:30. We'll have to, a few of the details are still in the hopper, but so we'll have this series of meetings. So by the time we get to December, we'll understand every department. We'll understand their budgets. We'll understand their staffing. We'll understand, we have a tool through our on our website, ClearGov, and so we'll be able to look at ClearGov and say, what do other communities like us, what are their staffing like, what is their budget like for their fire department, or for their select board, or whatever it is, that we can look and compare and ask questions as a community. So by the time that we're done, we'll have a wealth of information from our community and a wealth of questions from our community, and then we're better positioned to say, are there places that we can make cuts? And if we do, and it's an if, I want everybody to hear me say if we get to a point where we need to come to the community and say an override might be necessary to balance our budget, the community knows what they're choosing, and they're choosing to pay more taxes, or they're choosing to have reduced services, and they understand how they know what they're choosing. Because I think the most important thing is they know what they're choosing. And so by the time we get to that process and the actual budget process, we're going to have a new town administrator, so I don't want to tie this person's hand in terms of exactly, are we going to do zero-based budgeting, or are we going to do, I think there's different ways that, I'm saying but the board and I met, and we've discussed this last Friday, so I'm representing a shared understanding of that. So then when we start the budget process in December, it will be with our eyes wide open. Because that's what I think we need, is our eyes wide open. This is what we have here in Norfolk, and this is what's going on. And so we are excited. It's different. Other communities have done it with success in Massachusetts, and other communities have done it for quite a while. They said the first year it's hardest, the two things that are the hardest the first year is the department heads have never presented to the community before, so it's anxious. They said by the second year the department heads are like, oh, and we could do this and we could do this, and they'll keep it down to not too long, and so it takes a little while. And then also the community, we're going to have a waiting list. We'll have more than 25 people who want to do this, and we're just going to have a waiting list. And in my mind, it's a useful thing to run year after year. It's a good reminder for departments to say, this is what we're here for, right? This is what we do. And it's a good reminder for us as citizens. This is what we get for our taxes. And so that's the process that we have agreed upon and that we're going to launch. And so by the time, it won't be where it's, March and advisory is just finding out that this is how we're going to do, or this is what we're going to do. So, we are committed to laying a strong foundation. As part of that strong foundation, I have, with the amazing support of Norfolk Cable Television, as I have filmed a state of the town address. So it says very clearly, you're going to like this part, it says very clearly that some things that we're really proud of as a town that we've accomplished, but it also says, one of the things I say in there is, in 2024, we took a little bit of free cash. In 2025, we took more free cash, and we know we can't do that again. So it says that very clearly in there, that we have some difficult challenges ahead. And so we'll send that out. Andrew, we'll send it out soon. And and that's the foundational piece. These are the things we're proud of. These are real challenges that face our community, and so please pay attention, get involved. We want to know what you know, because there's so much wealth and knowledge in our community, and we want to tap those resources as we begin to make these difficult decisions. I'm going to turn over to Kevin for a second. Did I leave anything out?
Nope.
He says nope. Does advisory have any questions?
It sounds like an interesting idea. One of the things I would ask, as the chair, I'm hoping you would allow for revolving membership participation from the advisory committee
Absolutely.
members. So that
Absolutely.
it's not one or two of us.
I'm just going to get a water. Excuse me.
Because once we start our process, it's a weekly process as well. So we're trying to, spread the burden.
We'll also spread the knowledge.
Spread the knowledge. We have always had a process of assigning members to specific departments or areas of interest. Schools and public works and the public safety processes being the three largest, but we've had people that have covered other things, and that might be the way we think about doing is that when the fire department's up, the public safety person goes to that meeting, et cetera, or the public safety person and someone who's interested in the issue as well. The other thing, and I met with Michael last month, sort of talk about this stuff a little bit too. We're obviously always interested in the revenue side too. And I know that that's harder to come at early because the numbers develop through the year. You're basing a lot of your next year's projections on what's happening this year. And this year we're 6 weeks in. So, but those are the kinds of things we're also interested in. And I'm hoping that's a harder thing to set up as a citizens thing because it's an ongoing process.
And I think it'll be harder for us to address that in September because we just won't have that
I
information.
agree.
So we can't really.
I'm just putting that out there that we're interested in that process too. I guess a little bit of this, and when Michael and I met, he talked about having us come when you guys have your meetings with department heads as the board, if we could participate in those. I don't know if this is supplanting that or supplementing that.
I think it supplements that because I think, first of all, if we look at just how we're using our resources of our department heads, it makes sense for us to do that work
Right.
together.
Yep.
And I think it could be that we ask a question you didn't think of, or you ask a question. I think there's value in doing that work together. So I'm super supportive of that idea.
Great. So indeed, it is an interesting idea, and I think that's one of the things we've seen is that the whole process occurs, I will never say behind closed doors because it's not, but it occurs
Quickly.
in meetings and that people don't think of attending or whatever it might be, and this is a way to put it out there a little bit more. The fact that they're going to be taped and televised is helpful as well. So that's a really interesting idea. I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts on that or...
So you're talking about when the department heads come?
The separate, sort of, when they come to do their sort of formal
Do it
budget
together rather
requests
than-
and discussions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because these academies actually add a third.
A third tier, right?
That's more, I think, the background on what the departments are up to.
But I mean, a third
There are
meeting that the department head would be
18
attending.
firefighters, and we have 2 lieutenants, and I'm just making these up
Right.
because I don't know, but...
But it's our foundational knowledge.
yeah.
So it's building a shared foundational knowledge based on facts about what are you getting for your taxes and what are those things, what does that person do, right? Like, who knows what, I don't know what all the people do, so I think it will be educational for me as well. And so I think it builds a shared understanding to launch the conversations that are going to be difficult, that are coming ahead. But it builds a shared understanding before we go into the process, because there's so much speculation and so much wondering and so much Facebook that isn't even accurate. And so this is a place where everybody in Norfolk can go, these are the facts, these are the information from our budget, this is where you can go right now on ClearGov and see how we compare or how that works or how it affects, if this is my value of my house, how much of my money goes to the schools or how much of my money goes to the fire.
And you just said one thing, sorry, Rob. Have you spoken to the school committee and superintendent about this yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Obviously, their participation will
Is
be-
critical. They're on the calendar, but they're on the calendar. We're meeting with department heads tomorrow. I'm not sure if the schools will be there, so we can set up a separate meeting.
They're invited.
But the schools aren't until down the road, so they'll have time.
Yeah.
But it'll be the same format for every meeting, so every department is answering the same questions, going through the same, what's your organizational chart? How many staff? What's your budget? Where does your budget come from? Is it, is it coming from taxes? Is it coming from, and so it'll have the same questions. Every department will answer it in the same format so that we'll really be able to compare.
Excellent.
So the problem with the diffuse way everyone gets information and the diverse ways, I think we've got to be thoughtful about how to spread it beyond the 25 and doing more than maybe just putting the meetings on TV. Perhaps after each of the meetings, you have a separate cable show that's only 30 minutes, that's, a member of the board, a member of the group, the public group, thinking, this is the interesting stuff that we learned, and we could do also perhaps some written
That sounds lovely. We have at this.
Sorry,
Thais,
this is
yay.
Thais. So I just want to add, hi everyone. We did discuss that, Rob, and I have approached the select board a couple times, and we have talked about setting up a communication subcommittee out to the public, specifically related to this, but also other related to other things happening across the various boards within Norfolk, recognizing that social media is not, everyone is not on social media, and we need to do a better job of communicating to the residents. So that is on the docket. It will be a committee made up of volunteers, of people who can summarize what is happening at these critical and important meetings, and using multiple mediums of communication to get it out to the public. Mm-hmm. So we have thought about that, and yes, that will be part of this initiative as well.
So for the hundreds of people watching, if you want to be on that committee, please reach out to call the offices here at Town Hall and put your name in, or email, and we would be happy to. I know we've had one person reach out so far. We need more than one, so we're eager to hear from our community.
Great. No, it's a really interesting way to build a baseline. I think that's what we've learned is lacking. I have my own theories about that, which Rob is, the whole committee has heard me rant about. The lack of local media coverage
is a huge problem.
You need a newspaper.
It's a huge problem.
We need a
for us.
newspaper, and we're not going to get one. So
yeah, we do. And so maybe we could have a communication committee.
Right.
Maybe
I think that that idea of having a committee that's focused on, subcommittee or whatever it's focused on,
getting that out. And our 8th graders spend a whole year doing civics. Maybe we can partner with our schools and get our 8th graders to, they don't even have to go to the meetings. They could watch the video, right? And we could partner with other community members and get them involved in government at a younger age. So I think there's opportunities to do this really well. And this year will just be the beginning, and then we'll build on it.
Anyone else have any comments from my side, our side? Cool. I appreciate that. I'm glad you guys have done a lot of thinking about it. Our main purpose of this was to sort of follow up on the meeting that we had right before town meeting, where there was a discussion of this year's process now. This sounds like an interesting way to go get at it. A comment you made, Anita, and I don't know what your timeline is on the permanent town administrator position, but they're going to come into a
Yes.
ongoing fluid. There is no zero-based budgeting on the table for this year, I would say, unless you're starting it now. And I'm just being frank. I mean, that person is going to inherit half a budget at that point or something like that. So, but what is the timeline on the?
16 weeks.
Madam Chair, through you, I keep doing this in my head, trying to figure out where we're at, but you're probably looking at sometime December timeframe, which would be right in the heat of the budget takeoff. That's usually when communities that I've been in prior, we would roll the budget Thanksgiving weekend, and we would sit there and begin to build the revenue side of the budget starting Thanksgiving. Mid-January is when the MMA conference is. That's when you know what the governor is thinking and what the governor's budget looks like, and that's usually what we base at least our local aid information on that. And then, you've got the other side of the cherry sheet too, which is the gets. So you got the puts on one side and the gets on the other, and I always look at the back side of the cherry sheet first. But that's the one that usually will get you. But Yeah, you're probably looking at December for a town administrator.
Cool.
Otherwise, you're stuck with me for a while.
He's been an excellent partner.
I enjoyed my meeting with him.
Yep.
We talked war stories about mutual past acquaintances, I think. So, thank you very much for having us.
We are thrilled to have you, and we're looking forward to partnering with you in this work.
Great. I did see that you opened the warrant, and that's a process we're also interested in, runs in a separate timeline, obviously. Quick question, is there going to be a capital request package?
Madam
You don't have
Chair,
to tell me what's in it.
I don't believe so.
Okay. Interesting.
I haven't
Okay.
heard anything from the department heads,
Okay.
and I have nothing
Great.
to put forward at this point.
Okay, thanks. With that, I'll adjourn our meeting. All in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. Looking forward to working together.
Be nice to my neighbor-in-law.
So for people who missed it, we have been joined by Thais Hickman, who is our third select board member. She's going to be joining us remotely today at this meeting. At this time, I'm going to open it up for public comment. So if there's anybody online or in person who wants 3 minutes of their time to talk about an issue relevant to the community, we're open. Seeing none, do you see any, Amanda?
Nope.
Seeing none, then I'd entertain a motion to reorganize the agenda a little bit. If we could take items number 9 and 13 ahead of number 3, if we could have a motion to do so.
Yes.
So moved.
Thais, will you second?
Second.
We have to do a roll call vote. Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Thais Hickman, aye.
Thank you. So that moves us to number 9, which is, I'll pass it to,
Yeah, Madam Chair, this is a request for utilization of Town Hill, and this is from the Cactus and Succulent Festival. It's free admission, parking. We have all of the details, and we would recommend it.
any discussion? Is, didn't we think somebody was going to be here? Somebody,
Yeah, I don't see him.
okay.
I'm tuning in. This is
Oh,
Lon
there you are.
Magner from the Cactus and Succulent Society.
There you go.
Hello.
That's us.
Hi.
Hi. Do you want to tell us about your event just very briefly?
Sure. This, well, we're talking about next year's. We have an event in a couple of weeks on Town Hill, the 19th year of our Cactus and Succulent Festival, and it has really grown. And the request we put into the board was about next year's 2026 festival, which will be our 20th, and we're going to try to make it a bigger event than it is now. The event has grown quite a bit over the years from a few people, a few vendors. We now have 25 vendors. We take no more than that because we want to have them all and spread out on Town Hill, plenty of room for everybody. And we do have a waiting list. And we also have at the same time on the Saturday, the exhibit inside the library hall, which will have over 300 different kinds of plants. And the event is very popular, and we include local organizations at no fee. That would be the Lions Club and the Garden Club, and C&C Ice Cream, and 4B's Vegetable there. So anyway, I just wanted to be here in case you guys had any questions about the festival.
Excellent. Any questions? Thais, any questions?
No, but I did buy some cacti last year, so it's a great event.
I had a person drop off some cacti at my house a couple of days ago, and they were 90% dead.
Oh.
And they were wondering about getting their money back from last year. And they only cost $3 each anyways. So I had to ask them how they were taking care of them, and they said, well, we keep them in the house and we water them every week, and that killed him.
Yeah.
He's a cacti. Our cacti get watered 3 times a year. And so she did them in, and so that was fine. She didn't need the refund after that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate you adding this event to our community. All of these events bring our community together, and that makes us stronger as a group. So thank you very, very much for doing that. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, Madam Chair, through you, I just wanted to thank the folks from Cactus and Succulent Society. They provided all the paperwork that we need for next fiscal year, next year, and also certificate of insurance for this year. So thank you very much for giving us that and getting on that as quickly as you did. We appreciate that.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I would entertain a motion for the use of Town Hill for the Cactus and Succulent Society's annual festival on September 19th, 2026, from 6 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. The event is from 9 to 4, contingent upon the receipt of a certificate of insurance.
Which we have, so we're good.
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Roll call vote. Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Thaís Hickman, aye.
Excellent. And that is number 9. Now we are going to jump to number 13. We're going to welcome our visitors from the Council on Aging. Hello there, welcome.
I have to remember to take my briefcase with me when we leave. These are big chairs.
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us tonight, putting us on the agenda. I'm basically here just to report about a grant that we have used from last year from the Mass Council on Aging, let you know what we've been up to with it. And so I think everybody in the room anyway knows who I am, but for anybody who's watching, I'm Karen Edwards, and I'm the director of the Norfolk Senior Center in the Council on Aging. I've been the director here in Norfolk for 3 years now, and before that I worked in the Natick Council on Aging for about 10 years, so I've got, or 11 years, so I have about 14, 15 years of experience working in aging services and programming. And my co-presenter tonight is Barry Atkin, who was the branding consultant for this project, and we'll give you a little more detail. We'll give him a little more detail about your background later. Right?
I see we have the slides behind us.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
That's okay.
Can people at home see the slides?
They can.
Great.
So to go off my agenda a little bit, I just wanted to make sure I issued an invitation to anyone who hasn't been to the Norfolk Library to see our annual art show. It's up now. It'll be up through August, and we have about 70 different pieces in there for people to look at. So just wanted to mention that. So we are a senior center. We're actively serving that they're in town. We have closer to 25% of our residents in Norfolk are 60 and over. We also do have some residents that attend our facility from other communities. As you can see from the slide, we have a lot of different things going on, and we have almost 800 unique individuals that checked into our programs from January 1st of 2024 to June 30th of 2025. We have a lot of programming. We handed out the newsletter. Anybody who's interested in Norfolk getting a newsletter. We have a monthly newsletter that goes out by mail if people want it to people in Norfolk, or by email, or people can check our website to see what's going on. And the out-of-town people website or email, we're happy to send that along to anybody who'd like it. They just need to let us know. So here, again, this is just a little snapshot of our programs and services that we offer. And if you look at our website or you look at the newsletter, you'll get more specific information. So what we basically did, I had a grant for a enhanced awareness of your senior center from the Mass Council on Aging, which was funded through the state. And it was for $7,500 to basically do just that, enhance our awareness in our community of what we do. So why? Why do we do it now? I have a couple of things here on the sheet. There's definitely demographic shifts going on in the world, the United States, and Norfolk. And we've already talked about the population of 60 plus in Norfolk. And believe it or not, by 2034 in the U.S., older adults are projected to outnumber children. We also have a situation demographically where since COVID, there are a lot more people that are socially isolated, adults in their homes. For one reason or another, either they choose not to go out still or they can't. Ageism is something that's really a big conversation in our industry right now, the aging services industry itself. And branding is a way to help emphasize all the positive attributes of our older adult community. I also provided the select board with just a quick handout just to talk a little bit more in depth about ageism, because it's really not the purpose here to really go into it too much. But the word senior can sometimes just put a stereotype up in people's mind. We've heard it, we've seen it. And so we're trying to help overcome some of that. So just a little bit of information about the grant we received. Again, enhanced public awareness. It was $7,500, and we used it for hiring Barry here, who is our marketing and branding consultant. And we are also creating new rebranded marketing materials, logos, taglines, signage, stationery, and some changes in some of our website, newsletter, our presence online, some new brochures out to let people know more specifically about our services and the different programs we offer. So I'll turn that next over to you, I think.
Thank you for inviting me, Karen, and thank you for allowing us to be here today, which Karen already said. I want to mention that today is actually my first time in this town, and I've gotten a great introduction to it from Karen, who is a native and has lived here most of her life. I'm really impressed, and I'm very impressed with the senior center. I've been in probably 30 or 40 senior centers across the Commonwealth, and there are many larger towns that don't have as much going on as you do here in Norfolk. I'm really impressed. She didn't pay me to say that. So the goals of the Senior Center Branding Initiative came from the initial RFP and my proposal back to Karen, which was to create a distinctive brand identity that represents the senior center's values and mission effectively. There are lots of other senior centers that have done rebranding. We didn't want to just take their stuff. We wanted to make it unique to Norfolk. Also, to enhance the senior center's presence in the younger older adult category. 60 plus is a state mandated age, as you probably know, for senior centers in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And thirdly, to improve the communication, especially to those socially isolated adults that Karen mentioned earlier. Oh, and Karen wants me to talk about me. Actually, you can read about me. I think the important things for you to know is that I have been working with aging services organizations for about 15 years, and I'm aging. And like I said, I've been to many senior centers, and Karen heard about me because two of her staff members went to a Massachusetts Councils on Aging annual conference, and I was presenting on rebranding, which I've done a number of times. I've also written with the Massachusetts Councils on Aging the book Marketing Tools for Any Senior Center.
So just to let you know what our overall process has been, the first thing besides getting Barry on board was to create a little bit of a project team. So along with myself, we had staff input, and we also had a committee of 4 of our board members that were interested in being part of a subcommittee. And we, that subcommittee, starting probably January, mid to late January, met every Friday with Barry over Zoom from January through June, I think, in the afternoon. We did conduct a lot of research. Each person on the subcommittee took a number of towns and communities in the state of Massachusetts and sort of looked at what their names were, their logos, newsletters. And I think it was like 50 to 60 total we figured out with that. So next is for you?
And we talked about the mission, the values, the vision of the senior center. All of those goes into what's called a creative brief, where we talk about who the senior center is, what the goals are, what we are trying to achieve through rebranding, and what we hope the outcome will be through rebranding. And so we developed a creative brief. Actually, before we did the creative brief, we did research, which Karen will talk about in the next slide. But so I wrote a creative brief based on the input from the team, and they reviewed it, tweaked it a little, and then they signed off on it. And I sent it to my creative designer, and we offered to get more creative designers involved. But the creative designer came back with 6 or 8 different variations of ideas, and the team zeroed in on a couple of those. The creative designer then modified those in keeping with the feedback, and then we refined those further. And so it was an iterative process over a number of weeks, which led to our choosing a new logo, taglines, a new name. Well, that came partly out of the research. And also we, as it mentions here, did a few other things as well.
Oh yeah, you're going to do the first.
So the research, as Karen mentioned, we reached out to it's amazing what you can find online today, of course. And so they did this great job of looking at newsletters, taglines, names, logos of more than 50 senior centers, especially of ones closer to the size of this town. It doesn't make sense to look at Boston or Springfield, because those just aren't typical for us. So the team looked at all of those, then shared their research together and said, here's what we really like best, and zeroed in on some thoughts which went into the creative brief. In addition, we talked about the mission, the values, and made some changes here as well.
So we did 2 surveys in town just to get some feedback from residents, and the first one was very successful. We were at we're at Election Day, and we had, but a dog thinks that's great. And we had a good number of responses, really. That was a good place to be, to get a cross-section of the population to be able to answer some questions that we asked them. Have you heard of?
I want to say something about that.
Hi, welcome back. We apologize for the interruption. We had some technical difficulties, and we're happy to have you join us again. So thank you very much. We were interrupted in the middle of the presentation from Karen and Karen and Barry, about the rebranding of the Council on Aging, and I'll turn it right back over to them.
I want to just mention something that people may not know about branding that came up while we were reconnecting, and that is, whether you have a branding process or you think you don't have a brand, you have a brand. It's how you are perceived by your community. So the select board, the 3 of you, you have a brand. It's how people perceive you. Now, you may not have actively said, here's what our values are and here's how we're going to communicate those values, other than I hear today, transparency is one of your values, so you're going to communicate that. You're trying to make that part of your brand. So branding or rebranding is about actively promoting certain values and communicating those out to the public.
Thank you.
So we're talking about the creative brief and brand development, and all of that, the taglines, the visual elements, the logo design goes into that rebranding. The goals for the new brand were that, based on the surveying, based on the purpose, the overall objectives of the project, were to make the new brand attractive, fun, have a sense of energy, welcoming and inclusive, with multiple elements that can be used in varied situations, with less emphasis, as Karen has mentioned, on the word senior. And drum roll. Is it there?
Go one more. There it is.
There it is. Very cool.
So this is what we came up with Barry, our subcommittee of the board members, myself, and staff input as well. And we hope it is all those things that she just mentioned for goals, that we have it's a new name, but obviously the old name works too. We have a logo, an emblem, which you can see, and a tagline. We have actually 2 taglines, I think. But this would be, so if I was going to put this on the front of the newsletter, this would be what you would see on there. And you want to explain the other?
Sure. Then the idea is that you can take the elements of that whole new name and logo and tagline and split them out. So over time, say that one in the top left with the emblem, engage, connect, and flourish could be representing of this Center for Active Living. And senior may become less and less important. You may not be able to see it in this typography, but the word senior is slightly smaller than the words Norfolk and Center. And over time, you can migrate to have the word senior be smaller and smaller so that it really becomes the Center for Active Living. That's the concept. And that emblem was one that we felt, with the colors and the people and the movement, not we, but the team, because I just presented various options, and they said, yes, this is what works for us. And the tagline communicates that as well: engage, connect, and flourish. So the top left is the emblem with the tagline. The top right, Norfolk Senior Center for Active Living, would be at the top of stationery, and the one at the bottom would be at the top left on envelopes. And then, of course, they can be used in various format, maybe just the emblem, for flyers, for signage, for magnets on your car. Say, oh, I'm with the Senior Center, or I'm with the Center for Active Living. So it can be used in multiple ways.
Okay, so just to let you know sort of our strategy, because actually presenting this is the first piece of sort of rolling it out publicly. We have planned sort of a phased sort of introduction instead of all at once. It's going to be a little bit by little bit. We want to come up with a plan, a communication plan to reach our current participants, maybe some baby boomers that we're not reaching right now, and then also the socially isolated people is really where we're targeting those 3. We'll update our printed materials and different signage that we use. We will also update our social media pages, so Facebook and our website, look of our piece of the website anyway. And I guess, again, just to follow up, like any other ages services organization talking about rebranding, talking about reframing aging and reframing the language we use, that's sort of part of our plan. And that's in the little packet that I gave everybody at the beginning. Are there any, I think that concludes what we wanted to tell you about. Are there any questions or comments from anybody?
Go ahead. Thais?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
My only comment is thank you for writing the grant. For the people out there who haven't written a grant, it takes time and energy, so we appreciate you taking that energy to write the grant and then doing the work on Friday afternoons for so long to make this possible. It's very exciting, and it does show the active. I love the purple. It's very cool, and it is well-informed, so thank you for your help in that. We appreciate your time and your energies, and we're looking forward to the future with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we'll go back to 3.
Now we're going to go back to Gary. So, may I turn it over? Yes.
Certainly, Madam Chair, you had a vacancy on the planning board that we needed to fill. The planning board met, and they have recommended Mr. Gary Searle as a planning board member to fill that vacancy to finish off a term that was vacated by Chad Peck. So his term will expire on May 5th of 2026.
Excellent. Gary, do you want to speak to the board?
Sure, I could speak.
Thank you.
I was previously on the planning board before. You may remember me. I think I joined back in 2019. I actually joined the same year, I think, as Chad. I didn't run for re-election at the end of it. At the same time, my wife was on the Board of Health. We have volunteered on numerous committees over the years in the town. Eileen ran the volunteer fair for probably 5-6 years. There were times during COVID when it didn't happen. I also, let me just shut that off for a second. Why don't I just look over it? Anyway, we were also members of the MRC, the Medical Reserve Corps. I participated on other committees like CPC while I was a member of the planning board. Been in the town over 35 years. It's a really long time. The last time I said that was when I was trying to get elected the first time, and I was up on stage, and then everybody that followed me had been here 40 years and 45 years. And I felt like a newbie in the town, even though I've been here 35 years. But we enjoy the community. We've always tried to participate in the community. Yes, I'm seeking to fill the remainder of Chad's position. I think where the planning board is now, totally different than when I started. Walter Byron, John Weddleton on the committee, a number of people that have been there for many years. And I have some of that historical knowledge from issues that were there at the time, and some of those issues still remain, haven't been closed. So I understand a lot of what's been going on in the town. So it's not like I'm entering this without any experience. So I think I can be helpful for the rest of Chad's term. I was just an associate. You might remember I was just before you about 6 months ago trying to be an associate again. Yes, I think I can perform admirably in the 9 months ahead and make some contributions while I'm there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gary.
I'm willing to answer any questions that you have about my life, my background, or you could have just said, cut it right there, Gary, it's fine.
So what we want to say is thank you so much for your service to the community. Those are some pretty big names that you mentioned, and we're grateful for the service of your committee. And I would entertain a motion to appoint Gary Searle as a member of the planning board to fill a vacancy due to the resignation of Chad Peck with a term expiration of May 5th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
And we'll do a roll call vote. Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Patty Sigmund, aye.
Chad Peck is leaving some big shoes to fill, and we're thrilled to have you in that place, Gary. So thank you very much.
I will try my best. Thank you for voting me in. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 4.
So, Madam Chair, and we've done this on a couple of occasions. The town belongs to the Southeastern Regional Services Group. The Southeastern Regional Services Group puts out all kinds of bid documents for different products and services and items that are consumables here in the town. This particular item is for paper goods and paper products through WB Mason. The numbers came back in very favorable to the Southeastern Regional Services Group, and I recommend that we continue our relationship in this respect. So.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes. I have a question. Is there multiple bids for this paper?
Madam Chair, through you, yes. So Southeastern Regional Services Group does all of the bidding processing for us. So they do it for multiple communities so that we have a larger purchasing Power, because it's a purchasing group. So they do all of the bidding, bid documents through Southeastern Regional Services Group, and then we're a participant.
So the item that you have there, does that represent a commitment? Is that essentially a purchase order?
So what we would do is we would actually contract, we're contracting.
Maybe I'll make the question more specific. There's 305 boxes. That represents 1.5 million sheets of paper. Where does this paper go to?
So, Madam Chair, through you, it goes to every department in the town and also to the schools, so they can participate in that as well.
Also covers the schools.
Yes.
Is there a requisition from the different departments?
We would-
How much paper?
Madam Chair, through you, this is just the contract that we're entering into for the purchase, and then the departments, as they need items, do their requisitions through the system.
But
Yeah.
the total of it just seems outsized to what our needs might be.
Well, I'm not sure if this is us, or if this is just us, or if it's the entire
I'm just saying,
purchase.
5 million sheets of paper just in the first line item.
Yeah, well,
But the schools alone go through just a whole lot of paper, so,
But this is all copy paper. It's all 20-pound white copy paper, every sheet of it. That's the 95% of that order. Is that really what we use?
so, Madam Chair, through you, this is not just us. This is what the Southeastern Regional Services Group, as a collective, put out there for bidding. So the collective of the entire number of communities that are participating is what you're talking about.
Well, no, but in that sheet that's published here,
I don't believe that's just us.
it seems like that's just you.
I don't believe it is. It might be, but I'm not sure.
we appreciate your questions, and we're going to move forward with that. We'll certainly see if we can answer that question maybe for next time in our comments.
Madam Chair, through you, if you want to contact my office tomorrow, I'll have an answer for you.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you.
Do you have a card?
I don't, but we
I
can
can
give you
take
the
your-
number.
We can get that.
All right, so I would entertain, unless there's further discussion from the board, I would entertain a motion to approve the contract between the town and WB Mason through Southeast Regional Services Group for paper items for the period of July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, roll call vote. Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Thais Hickman, aye.
Thank you. Number 5.
Madam Chair, the next item is for multiple products. Again, there are consumables that we use. Most of these are for the Department of Public Works. Again, this was all through the Southeastern Regional Services Group, which was a collaborative purchasing power. It's also for unleaded gasoline, magnesium chloride, ready-mix concrete, and also manhole extension rings. So these are a bunch of items and stone. So I would recommend that the town award the contract to the various entities that are listed in your agenda for the various products.
Any questions from the board? Thais? So I would accept a motion to approve the surge contracts as printed in the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
This is a roll call vote. All those in favor, Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Thais Hickman, aye.
Excellent. Number 6.
Madam Chair, because of the way the bylaws are written regarding town meeting, we'll be closing the warrant for the November town meeting on the 8th of,
September
6th of September. You are scheduled to meet on the 8th, but closing the warrant on the 6th, we're not going to be prepared to meet with you on the 8th to talk about the warrant articles, which is part of the process. So we're thinking about doing something on the 15th. We can either move the meeting of the 8th to the 15th, move the meeting of the 22nd back to the 15th, or you could have a special meeting on the 15th to just review the articles for the warrant. So I wanted to bring that forward to you this evening to have a discussion about what the board's, what's the will of the board?
Do you have any thoughts on that?
What day of the week is the 15th?
It's a Monday.
Monday.
The Monday.
It would be the Monday in between the 8th and the 22nd meeting. So we could either have 3 meetings in September, or if you want 2 meetings in September, we can either move one back or one forward. I can tell you from my standpoint, if we did the 15th and the 22nd, it would give us time to do a couple of other contracts that I'd like to bring forward to you as well, that I'm just not sure I'm going to be able to get squared away before the 8th.
Oh, that's agreeable to me. Does that work for you, Thais?
Yes.
And so we're talking about eliminating the September 8th meeting, and in September, only meeting on September 15th and the 22nd, which is 2 Mondays in a row, which isn't typical for us, but those would be the 2 meeting times in September.
Yeah, Madam Chair, the other option would be to then bump your entire schedule, because you're also scheduled to meet on the 6th of October, so it would just kind of create this cascading effect if we started pushing everything back a week. So
Let's just
I
consolidate.
think if you consolidate, we do those 2 meetings, we do them back-to-back Mondays, I think we'll be in pretty good shape.
So I would accept a motion to amend the schedule, the select board meeting schedule, to hold meetings on September 15th and September 22nd as our September meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Nope. All those in favor, roll call vote. Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Thais Hickman, aye.
Number 7.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Number 7 is, there are 2 new, as you know, we've been doing these opioid settlements for quite some time with the various companies that were pushing those products back in the day. I know the state is also involved in this, but we have an opportunity to participate in 2 new ones, one against Purdue Pharma, and then the other one is a settlement with a number of companies. They're all listed here on your agenda: Alvogen, Amneal, Apotex, Hikma, Indivior, Mylan, Sun, and Zydus. I've never heard of half of these companies, but apparently there's been another settlement with them, and what I'm looking for this evening is for the board to acknowledge those and to direct me to work with various people within the town to actually enter into those settlement agreements so that we can get some funding for various.
So I feel like the previous opioid settlements has really been a benefit to our community in many, many different ways. So I'm eager to have us join those. I don't know what do the other board members have any thoughts on that?
There could be no negative effects, right? We just,
Yeah, Madam Chair, through you, no, there's no negative to this. This is funds that have been, there's been a national settlement with these corporations, and then it would just be us being able to partake in some of that and use that for educational purposes within the town.
Excellent. So I would accept a motion to opt into the national opioid settlements for the Purdue Pharma and Alvogen, Amneal, Apotex, Hikma, Indivior, Mylan, Sun, and Zydus, and authorize the town administrator to sign any and all documents related to this on behalf of the town.
left out the word interim now.
Interim town administrator to sign any and all documents on behalf of the town.
So moved.
Second.
And a roll call vote. All those in favor, Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Thais Hickman, aye.
Thank you. Number 8. No?
Do you mind if I interrupt? I missed something as far as one of the last items, and that is the fuel contract.
I'm just going to interrupt you for 1 second.
Go ahead.
We usually don't you're the only one here, so I want to honor the fact that you've come here, and I'm so grateful that you're here. But could you add that question on when you call tomorrow, and we'll make sure to get it answered?
And I will just point out that the base that they're using is the highest price last year, okay, for the fuel. They picked a month last year where the price is absolutely the highest, and if you bought the gas today, you have 70 cents less per gallon than what they're quoting.
So if you call Town Hall tomorrow, don't call Town Hill, because nobody will answer.
Question briefly, Joel.
Yes.
The reason it is higher is because we don't have the capacity in the storage to store the fuel for the year. So it's a reason it's a little higher, because the gas is going to fluctuate throughout the year.
And I understand that. I understand all those things. However, it's a significant premium over what the gas is today, and I don't believe gas prices are going up. I believe they're going down. 70 cents a gallon from what it is today.
Well, we'll answer it tomorrow when you call, I promise.
Okay.
Thank you. And I am grateful for you being here. We just don't usually do a lot of back and forth.
No, I understand. You've got a lot of stuff to go through, and it's trying.
So number 8.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Number 8 is a request for utilization of Town Hill for Norfolk's Small Business Association Discovery Day. That's going to be held on September 26th, 2025. We have 27th. That's right. We had an issue here with the number. We had wrong date, right day. So it'll be held on the 27th of September. We have most of the paperwork for this particular item, and I have a call into Mr. Busick to talk about the certificate of insurance. So
Awesome.
we'll talk tomorrow about that, and then hopefully come to some conclusion.
Excellent. Any questions?
I just got to advise, I am on the board of the Small Business Association, so.
So do you have to, you have to
recuse yourself.
recuse
that's fine.
yourself from
Yeah.
that? So Thais and I. Do you have any questions before we?
I also belong to the Norfolk Small Business Association.
She's on the
I'm
board.
not on the board,
So-
but I'm part of the
Membership.
group.
Yeah, so
Just
Madam Chair,
disclosing that.
through you, yeah, I thank you for the disclosure, and under the rules of necessity, you can vote.
All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve the use of Town Hill for Norfolk Small Business Association Discovery Day on September 27th, 2025, from 2 to 7 p.m. The event will be held from 3 to 6 p.m., contingent upon the receipt of a certificate of insurance. And Thais, you'll need to second that? Oh, you'll need to say so
You
moved.
can make the motion.
I'm going to make the motion, and then you can second.
Second.
All right.
Did you make the motion?
I kind of did, in a backwards way. And so, any further discussion? We'll do a roll call vote. All those in favor, Anita Mecklenburg, aye. And
Thais Hickman, aye.
excellent, and you have recused yourself.
Yeah, I
Thank
can
you.
abstain.
Thank you very much. I'll do better next time. So number 9, we are skipping because we've already done it. Number 10.
10. So, Madam Chair, this is, again, another request for the use of Town Hill. This one is for the Girl Scouts Welcome Back event on September 8th, 2025, and I would recommend it.
On September 8th. Awesome. So any discussion from the board? No discussion? So I would entertain a motion for the use of Town Hill for the Girl Scouts Welcome Back event on September 8th, 2025, from 5 to 8 p.m. The event is from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Contingent upon the receipt of a certificate of insurance.
Madam Chair, through you, we do have that COI, but we just have to fix one piece within it, and we'll take care of that tomorrow.
Awesome.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Thais Hickman, aye.
Number 11.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This item is for consideration of approval of a road event for the Bike to the Beach to be held on September 13th, 2025. Again, I would recommend this. We've done all the pieces that we need, we have in place.
Excellent. And no public safety concerns?
No, ma'am.
Awesome. Any discussion from the board? So I would accept a motion to approve the Bike to the Beach for Autism Road event to be held September 13th, 2025, contingent on the receipt of a certificate of insurance.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
I think we're
Excellent. Number 12, consideration of formulation of makeup and chart screening committee.
So, Madam Chair, at your meeting where you met with MRI and also with Collins Center, one of the things that you had discussed was creating a screening committee to work with, in this case, MRI. They got the contract to help screen candidates to bring to you as a board. One of the things we did not do was formulate that committee, how many members, what their charge would be, the formulation of the committee, that type of thing. So that's brought it to you this evening to actually take care of some of that, so that we have an opportunity to discuss how you want to structure that screening committee to work with MRI.
Awesome. So I'll take feedback from the board.
I'm not sure how we go about doing that, but
Thais?
Okay. Yes, so I like the idea that both firms presented, which is have a committee made up of residents that would help with the screening process, the applicants, and also weigh in on the applicants. So I am in favor of that approach. In addition, obviously, to us reviewing the applications of having a committee made up of town residents.
And so,
which I believe the recommendation was at least 5 people. So we can talk about how many, but I think it's a good approach.
I also like the approach. I think it is a good approach, and I liked what they recommended was having nobody who works for the town or serves on any committee or any board. I think that is a very interesting approach. I think because we're wanting them to be efficient. If you start trying to deal with 7 schedules or 9 schedules, it starts to get unwieldy.
I think 5's a good number.
5 seems like a good number to me. And then I think we have to say what the charge is. And the charge is to screen the applicants through and against the criteria which the organization will help us develop based on interviews with the town employees and the boards and the community. And so they're going to screen the applicants and narrow it down to 3 people to recommend to the board, to the select board. Does that sound?
Yep.
Does that sound okay with you? So what we're asking then is we're creating the charge so that it'll be sent out into the world. People will apply to us and then we'll review their applications and determine 5 names. Is that how we're imagining it?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to try to do this. Does this make sense?
Madam Chair, through you, I think it makes a lot of sense, and as a former candidate for these, I think 3 is an appropriate number. You get beyond that, and people don't want to get their name out in the ether. And for the people that are listening to this, during that process, the screening committee will be meeting in executive session along with MRI, screening the candidates. Once the number of candidates has been narrowed to 3 candidates, then those names become public because we have to publish that for your meeting with those candidates, because then they would come before you at a meeting where you would actually interview the 3 finalists that the screening committee and MRI bring to you. So I think that's appropriate. I think you've hit the nail on the head for all of that.
Awesome. So I'm going to try to do this. I would entertain a motion to create an ad hoc screening committee for the open town administrator position to be made up of 5 members selected from a pool of applicants who are town residents but not employees of the town or current members of elected appointed bodies. The town will advertise the members utilizing multiple media and the selection of the committee will be determined by the select board. The screening committee will work in conjunction with MRI to interview candidates and narrow the field to 3 candidates candidates to be presented to the Select Board for final interviews and selection. The term will expire upon the swearing-in of the new town administrator.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, roll call vote. Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Diane Hickman, aye.
And so for the community who's watching, we encourage you to apply to be on the screening committee. I think this is both the companies we interviewed. This is an interesting step in the process that I think will bring us a nice, rich, representative pool of candidates, so.
So should we put a timeline on when we're going to end the accepting screening applicants?
I think MRI will do that. Is that mistaken?
No, Madam Chair, the applicants for the screening committee will come to
Us.
to the board. There is a lot of work that MRI is continuing to do. I can talk to the folks from MRI tomorrow and get an idea, because they want to start meeting with, they're going to start with you folks.
Yeah.
So they're going to reach out to the members of the Board of Selectmen, Select Board, I'm sorry, to the Select Board, and have conversations with you first, and then from there, kind of pick your brains on who do you think we should speak to in the community as far as elected people that work for the town, that type of thing, so that they have an opportunity to get out and do all of that. While that's going on, in a parallel process, we'll be asking for people to join that screening committee, and then we'll see what we get for applicants. I don't know what that timeline is going to look like, so I'll speak with MRI, and if I can get an idea of what their timeline is going to look like for receiving, because we really have to have that screening committee in place when the applications come in.
Right.
So I'll get an idea of when they're going to do that, and then we can make that a deadline for.
Because I know if we don't put the screening committee in place, it's going to hold up the whole process.
Yes.
Absolutely. So you're going to have to meet prior to that. So I'll work a timeline for you, and I'll provide it to all of the members if that's
Awesome.
acceptable.
But we're looking like mid-September at the latest, right? Or you think even further out?
Oh, close, yeah.
I would think for your first meeting in October, which is October 6th, I think we want everybody in by then.
So for the community who's watching us, the copious numbers of people watching, send in, there's 4 people, so 5 people. Send in your request to be part of our screening committee. We're eager to have our community represented, and we look forward to your applications. Excellent. We're going on, it was 13 we've already done. We're down to number 14.
So Madam Chair, through you, that's consideration of pre-town meeting question and answers. I'm not sure, this is my first foray into all of this, so I'm going to leave that to you folks to
Okay, so.
talk about how you want to handle all of that.
All right, so I can tell you what we did in the past, and then we can talk about what we had heard from some of our residents was that town meeting, there's chances, opportunities to ask questions at town meeting, and people feel like their questions are answered, but for some people, it seems like it's going kind of fast, and they don't have time to process the information. So they wanted to have a pre-town meeting where they could ask questions related to the warrant and get those questions answered in a way that they had a little bit of time to think about it. So last year we did that. It wasn't very well attended, but some of that was our responsibility because we didn't give people a ton of notice. It was like, next Wednesday, we're going to have this thing. And so people didn't have enough notice. And I think the feedback we got from people was that it was valuable. We did film it and put it out there. But we wanted to do that again. Again, we're very interested in transparency. We had tentatively talked about, but we'll have to talk to our department heads because we really need them there to help answer those questions. But we talked about the week before, like having it on a November 6th. That is a flexible number. So if the department heads all say the 5th is better or whatever, that's a flexible number. But I think the sooner we set the date, the better. So we can tell our community that this is what we're responding to their request for information, and so this is so they can put it on their calendar and participate, either virtually or in person. We had a way for people to send in questions. They could email their questions to Justin, and then he made sure those questions were asked at the meeting as well.
Okay. So, Madam Chair, if I could through you, I have a department head meeting scheduled for tomorrow morning. We can actually put that out to the department heads and get
Perfect.
some feedback on which of those dates would work best for the majority, and we can go from there. Because I'm not
Perfect.
sure who's going to have, in this particular case, it's going to be a narrower need because not every department's going to have a warrant article.
Right.
So-
Right. So it's just to respond to the warrant. It's not questions about all of the town. So it's only responding to the warrant. And I would suggest it be that week before town meeting, so that it's fresh in people's mind, but not too, we don't want it too far ahead of time.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you very much. And then general updates.
So, Madam Chair, through you, I have a few updates. I'm now in my 5th week here, 6th week. I guess the start of my 6th week. I just wanted to thank the board for meeting on Friday. We addressed that open meeting law complaint that we received regarding the way we had handled the reappointments and appointments and not being embedded in the agenda. We acknowledged that at the last meeting. I will just report to you that your office staff is all going to be attending open meeting law training on September 12th. It's a Friday, it's an hour-and-a-half training on a Friday afternoon. Amanda did find a link to open meeting law training that's a web-based training. So we need to do that, and at some point, you all need to do
Yes,
the same
we're
thing.
eager to
I
be.
have forwarded that information to you through your email, so that you have all those dates available to you, and as soon as you've done that, if we then have, if you can report back to the office when you've taken it, then we have all that information available so that we can let the complainant and the state know that we've complied with the things that we've said we were going to do.
Excellent. And so, go ahead, keep going.
No, that's fine.
Just to reiterate for the 5 people who are watching, that the complaint was a technicality about how our agenda was printed, and we were out of compliance, even though the information was in the packet, it wasn't on the agenda. And so we have learned, we'll do that better, and we will go through the training as a board to make sure that we're fully informed.
Next item I wanted to report out on is the building commissioner. We have an opening for a building commissioner. We've narrowed the field down to 3 candidates. We're doing some reference checking at this point. It is a little more difficult now for me because Kelly King has left, so I no longer have an assistant town administrator nor an HR director, so I'm trying to fill in where I can there with the few hours that I'm working here. But we're checking references, and I expect to have an appointment and a ratification vote at your next meeting. So that's my goal for that particular position. I have finished the contract for NCTV. I have a draft for a contract between the town and NCTV so that we can be in compliance.
Excellent.
I am waiting to hear back from one of the members of the board who I've been conversing with. I do need a copy of the bylaws because there's pieces within the contract. I just need to plug some information in that are bylaw related. As soon as I get their bylaws, I have their articles of organization, but I need the bylaws. And as soon as I have that, I can actually finish all of that. As part and parcel to that, one of the things that we're doing is also renewing the contract renewal for Verizon has started. They actually sent us a letter saying they want to start the process of redoing their contract. One of the things that I noticed the town doesn't have is a cable advisory committee, which I was a little bit, I'm not used to that. I'm used to having a cable advisory committee in place. So I think that's something that we'll talk about, and I think at your next meeting, I'm going to be coming forward with a recommendation on creating a cable advisory committee to help in the process of renewing that contract. What else? Back to we're short-staffed. Kelly King, as you know, Kelly King was the assistant town administrator. Her last day was Thursday. She's gone back to her position in Belmont as the HR director. I wish Kelly well in her endeavors. I think she's going to make a fine town administrator or town manager one day. She has the skill set. She just needs opportunity for a little bit of experience. But I'm trying to figure out how to backfill that role. I have had a conversation with a couple of different people, and I'm formulating a way to maybe do something on an interim basis in the HR role for the time being, so we have somebody that can help with some of the things that keep cropping up. In the meantime, I'm going to be doing a little reallocation of responsibilities within the office, and I'm thinking through how I'm going to do that, but it may require a couple of additional hours in some places so that we can actually continue to deliver the services that we're delivering as your office. And as you know, there's a lot of items that hit the place on a daily basis, including the minutes for this meeting, these meetings, the warrant articles, we're doing all of the public records requests out of your office, so there's a lot that goes on a daily basis, never mind the other things that crop up unexpectedly. So again, I'm formulating something that I will share with the board at some point. I just don't know exactly how I want to handle this at this point in time.
But to kind of summarize what I heard you say is we're looking at, or we're considering, or you're considering bringing forward a short-term HR person, an interim person, because then the new town administrator could bring on their own, because that's definitely some feedback we heard from employees.
Yeah, correct. I'm not planning on filling that role. I think it really belongs in the hands of the incoming town administrator to work with you all to figure out how you want to structure that particular environment going forward. So I'm just looking for ways to stopgap in the interim. I have I actually reached out to a couple of different people. One, the rate was just not acceptable, and unfortunately, we couldn't work anything out there. I have one other person I'm going to contact. I'm not sure if she's going to be interested. And then I had a conversation with the superintendent of schools to maybe do something combined with the schools. So I'm keeping everything open until we have a plan. But I just wanted to let you know that I am working on something there just to try to figure out how to get by in the next few weeks. And it's even more complicated in the fact that I'm trying to keep my hours to 20 a week so that I don't have to walk out of here the end of October or beginning of November because I've hit my earnings or my hours.
We can't have that.
It would take less than an hour, then you could stay longer.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that, sir.
I'm just trying to help out.
I really appreciate that offer, sir, and I will keep that I will take that under advisement.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Just trying to help out.
That's it for me, Madam Chair.
Awesome. Select Board, any Select Board updates?
No, if I may, I'd just like to let everyone know that the shelter has closed down and it's all vacant and everything else, so everyone's smoothly there.
Thank you. And Thais?
Sorry, no additional questions or updates from me.
Awesome. And I don't have anything either. There are opportunities tonight to be on our communication committee, to be on our steering committee, and there will be opportunities in the future. So please consider volunteering for your town. We'd love to hear from you. So use our website as an excellent place of information. All right, I would entertain.
Nope, minute meeting.
I was going to do warrants.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the warrants as listed in the agenda.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Thais Hickman, aye.
And then the minutes. Our clerk, Thais, do you want to do that motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 13th, 2025 and June 9th, 2025 as printed in the packet.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Thais Hickman, aye.
Madam Chair, before you adjourn.
Yes.
Going back to and I should have brought it up under the discussion about the screening committee. One of the things that I did receive from MRI was the advertising, the listing of the advertisement. I had a conversation with the folks from MRI because there was one section in there where it talks about salary range. And I wanted to have a discussion with you folks tonight about salary range for this particular position. The folks from MRI have just placed a couple of people in different communities that are like size or even a little bit smaller. And the salaries are getting up there. They were recommending a salary range of $185,000 to $205, something like that, somewhere in that ballpark. I wanted to have a discussion with you all to see what your thoughts were in that respect, because we do want to get the advertisement out there as well. And again, the longer we wait on these items, the worse that's going to get. I was able to fill in some of the blanks of, budget information, number of employees, that type of thing, number of residents in the town. But this one is not, it's way out of my wheelhouse. So I wanted to bring that forward to you folks tonight, just have a quick conversation on what your thoughts are.
Awesome.
What was the prior town administrator's salary?
That I don't know. I know that his contract started off at $175, and he had another $5,000 car allowance, so he was right around $180,000 to start, and that was his original contract. I don't know what he got for increases over those 3 years, and I didn't have an opportunity to talk to anybody because we didn't have a person here that could get into the payroll system today, because the people that were Kelly and the payroll person out of the accounting department, and she wasn't in today. She won't be in until Thursday, so I didn't have that actual number in my head.
Thais?
Yeah, I mean, I think if the prior administrator was starting at 180 3 years ago, then I don't think it's far-fetched for us to range, to have a range of 185 to 205. That sounds right to me. And obviously, someone with more experience would get at top of the range versus someone who doesn't have as much would get at the lower. So that sounds right to me, just based on the prior salary, if that's what we budgeted. And again, I'm sure that he didn't stay at 180 over the 3 years that he was here. So I'm sure he was making more than that.
Yes, I think he had the 3% raise that all of our non-contract people, 2 or 3%, whatever the non-contract people is what he got. I guess I have mixed feelings because obviously our budget is going to be tight. So the first impact is to say let's go low, but at the same time, we have lost several people in high-level positions because our salaries are not. We lost facilities to a higher salary, and then we lost the next facilities to a higher salary, and then we're losing Kelly, and we're losing people because we're not able to offer.
But then they hired the facility at the higher offer, so we lost one at one, but the new one came in at a higher one there, so.
But we have to offer a salary that's competitive.
Yes.
So that we can keep people here. And I believe that increase of salary was also, there were compromises in other places that saved us money in that decision, but I don't want to misspeak,
yeah,
so.
yeah.
So I think the range sounds fine. I'm nervous to offer too low because, as we heard very clearly from our town employees, they want somebody who's ready to stay, who wants to come to Norfolk and stay for a while, and so we need to offer a competitive salary. And as much as it's painful because of our budget situation, if MRI says this is competitive, then I would support that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate that. Thank you very much to the board.
So
for-
we're going to the 185 to the 205?
I believe that was the range he gave me. I've got it, it's upstairs on my desk, and I apologize. I meant to bring that with me to the meeting, and
No.
but 185 was the starting, was the low end of that range.
And the car
It's
allowance
higher than
that's all discussed afterwards? or-
No, it'll all be discussed afterward as far as, when you get into contract negotiations with the individual, that's when you would get into all of that.
Okay.
I can tell you as a former town administrator, I'd rather have it in my salary base than as a stipend, because the salary base helps me with my pension as opposed to a stipend that's out there that means nothing to me at that point.
Yeah.
But if you have an idea of the range and you want to spend X number of dollars, then you can, within that range, you can do whatever you want as long as you stay within that dollar amount.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I
So-
have nothing else, Madam Chair.
So then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote. All those in favor, Anita Mecklenburg, say aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Thais Hickman, aye.
Thank you, Thais, for joining us remotely. We're really grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you.